thanks for tuning in. You're listening to Modern Era Fitness Podcast. My name is Mike.
And I'm Caleb.
If you have any questions...
If you want to get a hold of us... you
gotta start that over because I was laughing.
Okay, we're started over.
Okay.
Click.
If you want to get a hold of us, reach us on Twitter at MEF Podcast or on Instagram at MEF Podcast.
You can find
on
it
Facebook or Gmail or whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Gmail is Modern Era Fitness Podcast, all spelled out, at gmail.com.
That's right.
Today we're talking about pet peeves with what I do and what Caleb does. Caleb's a martial arts instructor, and I am a personal trainer. Caleb, what are your pet peeves?
That's how you want to set it up?
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, so we just wanted to take time out of our daily lives to explain some things
that get our goat.
That really get under our skin. So how about we do it this way? I'll come up with one, then you come up with one.
Sounds good.
All right, so it's not just all me. I would say one of my pet peeves... Okay, we're going to start serious on this one. Egos.
Ooh.
People that have egos. When they come in and they start training and they think they know how to punch better, or maybe they're coming in with having watched several UFC fights, and so they think they know what happens here and how everything works, and it's just not true. You're watching people that have trained their whole lives and trained full-time. That's their full-time job, to train, and to think that you can come in here and you know how to throw like a Muay Thai thrust kick, you know it, and you insist on that because that's what you saw somebody do and they made it work. You think that that's the right thing to do all the time, and that's just absolutely not true. People have, when they train in martial arts, they have a bread and butter, as we call it. They have a technique that they really enjoy, that they find that works well with their fighting style, and they train that bread and butter. Maybe it's that front kick, so they find a way to make that front kick no matter what the situation is. Whether somebody's coming at them with a punch, they throw that kick. Well, no matter if somebody's circling around them, they find a way to get that kick in. It's really good to specialize in a particular technique like that thrust kick. And to come in and think that you have a handle on that already is pretty ridiculous. You need to just trust the process. There's a reason why martial arts training has been the way that it is for the last thousands and thousands of years. The process works. You just got to trust the process. Don't try to cheat the process.
It has stood the test of time.
Yeah, and it'll work. You just got to realize what you want out of it will happen, but probably years down the road. So you got to put in the time and the work first.
Does what you put into it equate to what you get out of it?
Yeah, generally speaking.
I know that sounds like a simple question, but yeah. I think that's important too.
Yeah. No, you're right. The dedication has to be there. You have to be willing to put the time out. Time in. Yeah, the time in to get the skill out, so to speak. What about you? Give me one.
Ooh,
what's something that I do that you hate?
Oh,
with training.
Oh,
training.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, how you talk. No, just kidding.
It's a good thing we do a podcast together where all we do is talk.
We're just angry all the time. we just bear it down. It's fine.
Yeah. It's the Marine way.
Yeah, just bury those emotions deep. Let it come out. After you get your honorable discharge, then you can just go off the deep end.
all the tension that has been building for 4 years.
Hilarious, but true and sad.
Yeah. That's depressingly
accurate.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one for me is focusing on knowledge instead of effort. A lot of people come in, not a lot, but every now and again I'll be training with somebody or training somebody, and they'll be just starting out and focusing on understanding everything before they put forth real effort. And by real effort, I mean on a scale of 1 to 10, something being a difficulty of 9 or 10. Like they cannot do it.
So do you mean like they focus more on the intricacies of technique?
intricacies of
as
technique
opposed to just
and
doing it.
and understanding the roadmap of like, okay, how does all this work? I'm out of shape, but I want to understand the complete road. I want to have a complete roadmap of A to B.
You know, I was the same way when I started martial arts, and there are a lot of people like me that start martial arts that when they start learning how to do a form or a punch or something like that, they want to know exactly 100% the right way to do it. And really, the best way to go about it is just act like a baby. You know? Like, just learn the general movements as you progress through training. We'll fine tune it. We'll get your technique right. And
as
it'll
you
look
go.
good. Yeah.
You got to start first.
Yeah, you don't want to overstimulate in the beginning.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yep. Shit in your pants and everything. So... But yeah,
so you're saying people should wear diapers when they come see you?
No, that's going to be edited out. That's why I waited for a real long pause.
Okay.
So focusing on knowledge instead of effort, the opposite of that would be coming in and realizing that you're not going to know everything right off the bat and just working hard. Be like, okay, right now we're going to work on isometric holds, so we're doing a wall sit.
Oh.
You know, and instead of asking like, well, what's the purpose behind this and what's this going to affect and what are we going to do after this and how am I going into this? It's like, just stop there. Let's go find a wall. Let's go into a wall sit, and you're going to hold it for this amount of time.
I'll explain it to you while you're in a wall sit.
Yes. But yeah, that's number one for me, focusing on knowledge instead of effort. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Start putting in the effort, and you're going to learn as you go.
Okay. So, I get it. I'd have to say... I don't want to alienate anybody.
We're not alienating... We are not alienating anybody.
Except for your English teacher in 5th grade.
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Potter.
And this isn't specific to anybody that trains with me now. This is just something I've noticed over time with previous students that no longer are with us, meaning that they don't train with us. Not that
It's not me, is it?
Killed them.
I was there for like 2 sessions.
Or people that I've watched at other schools that have previous training, and it's not the previous training that bothers me. I love when people have previous training in different arts, but it's the people that have previous training and refuse to adapt.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like they're not willing to learn the way that we do things to broaden their perspective. I think there's a huge value to having training in multiple arts and finding what works best for you and kind of the smartest way to do things. But to have training experience, like if you train in karate for 5 years and then you come train with us, to think that the karate way is superior is, I think, ignorant. And vice versa. Like if you train in our art and then go to karate, to think that they're going to think about things the same way, or that they should think about things the same way that we do here, is a terrible idea. I think you need to, like Bruce Lee says and Chinese wisdom says, you got to empty your cup. You have to be kind of always be a white belt, be a blank slate.
Have a beginner's mind.
Yeah, whenever you start something new. So don't come in thinking like
you already know what's up.
Yeah, through the lens of your previous training. Just take it fresh as possible.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I think that goes both ways, and I would say that's one for me too. Like if somebody comes in, they have a background in, long distance running or jogging or CrossFit or whatever the case may be. There's things that we can apply to that here, but definitely it's just 2 different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And they both kind of complement each other.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody has a strong background of karate and they come in,
it helps.
Yeah.
It helps, and it actually makes my job easier in some ways because they know how to throw a punch, they know how to throw a kick. We might call it something different, or there might be some minor tweak, but having had that training, it's not too difficult for them to adjust to the way we do things. But to think that the way that they did things was the right way and the way that we do things is the wrong way is just a recipe for disaster.
Right.
Because I'll punch and kick them.
Like a good teacher.
There's another one that I have, and I have a feeling that this is a crossover for both of us, but the people that are half committed.
Ooh, yeah.
You
I
know what
thought
I
it was
mean?
my turn.
Okay. Do you want to talk about half committed?
Well, I thought it was me go, then you go, then me go,
Yeah.
then you
Okay. Another pet peeve of mine is people that think everything has to be fair. Go ahead, Mike.
go. Oh, I get that. Burn. Okay, fine. I'm going to take it around with it. I'm going to eat that soap. What's that movie? Name that movie reference. You're going to Google it right now, aren't you?
I am not.
Oh, my God. He's... Hoods? Google? What? How did you do that?
I'm not finding the movie, but I am discovering that you might have what we call pica, where you eat weird objects because you have a mental disorder.
Let's do this. Okay, it's a movie quote, so I'm not saying anything bad. Make him look like a dick. Eat the soap.
Oh, is it Super Troopers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we can move on.
So here's one of my.
I needed the cuss word to have a context.
Yeah.
Okay.
The police chief eats it. Anyway, so I hope we leave this in. Caleb does our editing, and I'm just like, oh man, what's gonna edit?
It's up to me.
Yeah, my lifestyle is in his hands. So
By the time I'm done editing,
I'm just gonna sound like an idiot. Moving on. One of my biggest pet peeves is training like a turd, or being half committed, and I say that kind of jokingly, but it's a real issue.
mm-hmm.
And so when some people train, they reach a certain level of discomfort and say like, well, I'm done. Well, they don't say that, but they're like, wow, that was really hard. I reached my limit. It's like, no, you reached like a quarter of your limit.
Mm-hmm.
And really training like a turd and being half committed mid-exercise or mid-set and, doing half of their reps and just realizing like, oh, this is a little uncomfortable. I'm done. But in their mind, they're like, wow, that was almost impossible. I went to the very edge.
Well, wait,
when they're
isn't
not
there
even,
some value
They're
in
not
that?
even getting close to the edge.
Isn't because before people visit you or me, they may not know what the real limit is. I mean, I don't disagree. That's one of my pet peeves too. But as I'm stepping back and kind of listening to it, I'm thinking maybe they just don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. But I think that there's the habit there that we need to kind of cultivate as instructors and trainers of, okay, we're going to find the edge. We don't know where the edge is yet. And I think that that edge can always be pushed.
Maybe a good way to put it is people that don't trust your trainer or your instructor.
Right. And a good example of this would be pull-ups. Like if you put somebody on a bar and you go do a pull-up and they go, oh, I can't. I'm sure if you have that bar over a cliff,
you better.
And you go, hey, do a pull-up, and they'll just get right up.
They'll wonder, why are you there, and why are you not helping me up?
Yeah. This is your.
Can you call the police?
This is your training.
Yeah.
Do we have to edit that out?
No way.
Okay. Twice your training.
He's gaining on us.
So half committed training. That's
training like a turd. I think
training
is the
like a turd.
Phrase you
yeah,
used.
and I learned that from Nick Tong. You can find him on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yeah, I follow him. He has some real gold.
There was before I understood Instagram. I was on it before I understood it. Bad combination. Just a heads up for people. I had shared, or no, Mike had commented on one of Nick Tong's pictures, and I made some sort of disparaging remark about how disgustingly large his legs are.
Oh yeah.
And he replied to it, and I felt horrible.
Yeah, no, he's a real guy. That he's a personal trainer, but he's a bodybuilder, and that's what he does. But he's good.
And
at
he
what
took
he
it in jest, like he was a sweetheart about it. But I didn't know that he could see.
Yeah,
like that comment.
Yeah, but I like him because he pays attention to the real issues and calls people on real faults instead of just trying to sell waste
just the
trainers,
positive side,
or trying to sell like, hey, this supplement got me this huge or whatever, or made me feel this good or whatever.
He says, I love to eat.
He's all about hard work.
A sheet of donuts.
A sheet of donuts?
That's like a sheet cakes worth of donuts.
No idea what you're talking about.
That one time he posted, he was carb loading or had his day off or something, and he had like a dozen donuts.
Oh, yeah.
In a
yeah. You can do that when you're that strict about your diet and you work that hard.
He's nuts 99% of the time. 1% of the time, he's
I wouldn't say he's nuts.
No, I mean he's like
he is
focused
a hard
nuts.
worker and a focused guy. And a lot of people are like that are in the bodybuilding. So that's mine. Training like a turd or being half committed. What's yours? What's your next one?
Being half committed.
It goes across the board, doesn't it?
Yeah, you still. I told you it does. How about? Okay, don't hate me out there, but other martial art instructors, anybody who's not me.
Oh yeah.
And it's not because I don't value them, and it's not because I don't think they know what they're doing, but some instructors just have a superiority complex, and they kind of taint a student's experience if they decide to train somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So like a student will train under a particular instructor, and they'll assume that that's the normal way that things run. And then when they come to me, things are different. And I suppose the opposite is true. If they train under me as their first experience and then go under someone else, the same thing is going to happen. But to limit somebody from being able to train under someone else, I think is, I don't know.
I think I know what you're saying.
What do you think I'm trying to say? Like, if you could put it into words.
One of your pet peeves is another teacher limiting their students and saying, don't go outside of this. Don't test the waters in another martial art discipline because this is the way.
And I know
the way.
The only thing that's good for you.
I'm the prophet for when it comes to martial arts.
Yeah.
You ready for mine?
I guess.
Starting hard and quitting quick. So
Did you read that somewhere?
I did. No, I didn't. That was just me. I honestly did just think of that.
Say it again.
Starting hard and quitting quick.
So let's parse that out. Starting hard.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So coming in and being like, hey, I'm really good at Call of Duty. I eat whatever I want, and I have my staple is pizza. And starting today, I want to be a bodybuilder and have sub, 6% body fat, and be able to squat 400 pounds, bench 300 pounds, deadlift 500 pounds, and go from there.
And go from there.
Yeah, but
that's my starting
But
point.
that does happen, and so
that's insane.
When people do that, I see the trend of they start hard and then they do that for a month or less, and then they're done.
Yeah.
Yep. I see people come in and they start once a week and they're kind of on the fence. They're like, yeah, I really want to change, but I understand that change takes time. So I'm going to focus on this long-lasting change and this new lifestyle that I'm starting. So I'm going to start and I'm going to listen to my teacher or listen to my personal trainer.
Again, trust the process.
And start with, 15 minutes of cardio 3 times a week. That's only 45 minutes a week.
That's nothing.
Most people watch, 10 times that much TV. So it's really easy to start, and it's really easy to overlook the fact that it's consistency over intensity. Like, you don't have to go in and be intense for 2 hours a day, or even an hour a day, or even half hour a day. You can go in and be intense 3 times a week for half an hour, or even 20 minutes, depending on your goals and where you're starting and what your goals are. And you'll make improvements. But it's about starting slow, tweaking the process, and trusting your trainer. So that's one of my big ones, starting hard and quitting quick. Start slow, build up, make the program for you, and trust your trainer. You got another one?
Hang on. 45 minutes? Something about 45 minutes and then times it by 10. What did you say?
Oh, I said
about TV
15 minutes of cardio 3 times a week, and I said most people...
Oh, and that's 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Most people watch 10 times that much TV. So 450 minutes divided by 60.
You're probably right. That's 7.5 hours.
Oh, yeah, easily. So most people watch 10 times that much TV in a week. 7.5 hours a week.
I think you could even go...
Divide that by 7.
I think that's being nice.
Divide that by 7. What's 7.5 hours divided by 7? A little over an hour a day. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What have we become?
It's sad
people?
but true.
Yeah.
So starting hard, quitting quick. Start slow, but trust your trainer.
That's good, man.
All right, what's yours?
This kind of goes in with the whole ego thing. I put this in quotation marks because it's kind of ridiculous to me. The quote unquote fighters, these people that come in with a mentality of, I fight.
Yeah.
I want to do street fights or I want to be prepared for a fight because I know I'm going to get in one. That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to, and I mentioned this in a previous podcast when you said something about you just wanted to kick somebody's butt. And I said, go train at Cobra Kai because I'm not going to teach you.
Because this is Miyagi Dojo.
That's right. This is real life, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in training people that are going to start a fight. That gives me a bad name. That gives the art we practice a bad name.
And we're not about street fights.
Yeah, we're about defending ourselves and the people we love and people that can't defend themselves.
I love that.
And it's really frustrating because, again, I think it's this whole UFC mentality, and not to harp on them because it's a great sport and it's very entertaining, but people take that and try to mix it into their own daily lives, and the only way that they see that is by getting in fights at the mall or a bar or something. And that's not what we train for. We train to avoid those kind of things.
When possible. Right?
Yeah, to temper the desire to fight. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I used that technique when I was a bouncer.
What do you mean?
Oh, I would...
Detail.
So somebody would they would come to the bar and want to start something with somebody, and I had a knack for just cooling the situation. So being a cooler versus a bouncer. Roadhouse. Only I wasn't that good.
Is that a Swayze reference? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Have you not seen Roadhouse?
No, but I know it's like my wife's and my brother-in-law's like favorite movie. And probably my mother-in-law's because she is a huge Swayze fan.
As a martial artist, you have to watch the show today.
Just a disturbing degree, she's a Swayze fan.
It's wicked awesome.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she has a poster of Swayze. But, like, if you part her clothes in the closet, like curtains, there's probably a Swayze poster there.
Okay, you're probably going to like this movie so much, you're going to go watch it and then come back and be like, we no longer teach Kajukenbo, we teach Swayze.
We practice the sways.
The Roadhouse branch. Okay.
All right,
next one. So, one of mine is not eating and then coming to train.
That happens... for us, too.
Now, what do you know? Okay, so quick story. I'm training. It's 2010, and I just started personal training. And I have a little boot camp going at not here, but the place where I started out at. And I got a new client that's part of the boot camp, and she starts not feeling so good and starts seeing stars. I'm like, hey, maybe you should sit down for real quick. And she's like, no, I'm fine. And she keeps going, and then she's really not feeling good. And she sits down. I was like, hey, you're not doing okay, and everybody else is doing their thing. And I noticed that she's like ghostly white and feeling like death. And I started asking questions like, you been drinking water? She's like, yeah, I had a glass today. I was like, well, there's a big, big red flag. Like not being hydrated and training that hard at that boot camp. And I was a lot meaner then. And I said, what'd you eat today? She goes, some celery.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Which it has a deficit caloric.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's like not having oil in
That's like taking away oil from your car.
Yeah, taking away oil from your car and then going to the NASCAR track and then flooring it.
I'm going on a road trip. I'm gonna go ahead and bleed out my oil.
We'll see how far I get.
Yeah. Maybe a little out of my brake line too. We'll see.
Yeah. So not having fuel and then racing, it's just a bad idea, and you're not going to get really far, and your body's just going to start kind of shutting down and not really liking you. So not eating, then coming to train.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Eat before you train because you need fuel.
Well, how far? Because I feel like if I train hard, I don't want to eat too soon because I'll throw it up.
It really depends. Like when you and I train in the mornings, I eat like on the way here. I have my banana and my pre-workout, my protein.
But that's kind of like a...
But you and I do resistance training.
Yeah. It's not like a high-intensity interval or something or a circuit.
So if it's like a one of the boot camps, I'd eat like an hour before.
Okay.
And-
that gives
and-
it time to settle down.
Kind of settle down, and you kind of get
The
those
fuel.
nutrients in your system.
Yeah.
But you don't want to like not eat all day and then eat an hour before then come, because then you're still just in the negative.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So eating for or not eating for performance and just trying to starve yourself to lose weight and then training, that's just a bad idea.
Mm. That's good. Meaning that's a good point. Not.
Oh,
no,
thanks.
it's good to not eat.
I was gonna say like, if
screw
Cook
you.
thinks it's a good idea,
Yeah.
just not eat.
Yeah.
Go bench.
Luckily, this next pet peeve of mine, I haven't had to deal too much with, but I've seen it at other schools and heard some horror stories. Parents that know better than the instructor.
Ooh.
So you've enrolled your kid into martial arts, and they're training on the mat. The instructor is leading a class, and the parent likes to interject and yell at Timmy, "Hey, make sure you're doing X."
Keep your hands together.
Yeah.
Sorry, Patriot games.
So parents that know better than the instructor, they want their kid to do well, and so if they see their kid, they think it's like soccer or something like that, where they can yell at their kid, "Oh, get the ball, shoot the ball," that kind of stuff. But the thing about martial arts is it requires a certain amount of focus, which is 100%. And so when you get people from off the mat yelling to people on the mat, that takes their attention away from what we're trying to do. And if they're misbehaving, don't worry, the instructor knows it. And if they're not addressing it, there's a reason for it.
Right.
Just again, it feels like this should be tattooed on my body or something, but trust the process. The instructor knows what's happening.
That's a huge point. Did I interrupt? I'm sorry.
No.
But that's a huge point, I think, with both what you and I do as teachers, of getting it across to the student or client or whatever that you need to trust the process. Everything we do and don't do is for a reason.
Yeah. It's not because we forgot or we don't have the knowledge. There's a time and a place to discuss and address certain things. And in the middle of a class, sometimes that's not the right time.
Yep.
Maybe one-on-one is a better way.
Heavy lifting will make me bulky, quote unquote. No, cupcakes will make you bulky. So this is a pretty big pet peeve of mine of
protein cupcakes,
of people not wanting to, or excuse me, this is singling out, but women not wanting to lift heavy because it'll make them bulky. That is not true. Women that are afraid of looking like a female bodybuilder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and having more muscles than anything on this planet.
They perceive it as being a less feminine figure. Right,
but those ladies are in the gym way more than you will ever be, and they're taking synthetic, possibly some synthetic chemicals that are making them that way. But it is not just an overnight change to get to that point. You have to do some really drastic stuff.
And they're training for specific criteria to be judged on. People can train and get strong, and not, if you're not going to be judged on this checklist of criteria in a competition, you can still get strong and still get fit and lift heavy.
Right, but it's ultimately up to you how you want to look and how you want to do.
Yeah.
So
how you want to
you're not going to look like that overnight or even in a year or even in 2 years.
Yeah.
Unless you are living in the gym and your nutrition is on point for that thing all the time.
Yeah.
And that's because of testosterone. This is a big point, ladies and gents. Testosterone in men and women are very different, and men can have about 7 times more testosterone than women, and testosterone is one of the major factors in why men can lift more physically than women, or why they're stronger physically than women. Notice how I said physically.
Yeah.
So women, if you lift heavy and you lift hard and you go for it, you're not going to get big and bulky like a dude. You're just not.
I have a feeling that no matter how diplomatic we are about that divide between men and women,
we're probably going to offend somebody.
We're still going to get.
Well, that's too bad.
I'm not saying that as a complaint. It's a reality.
Yeah, and that's too bad. But the fact remains the same. Like, I see
there are things
so many
that women can do that men
not
can't,
wanting to lift heavy because they're afraid of something. Don't be afraid. It's not just going to happen overnight. You're not going to just get jacked.
Yeah.
So try it.
Here's a firsthand example. My wife, she can lift way more than me. She can squat more than me. She can bench
Really?
more than me. Yeah, easily. Probably double of what I can do.
Wow.
And you know what? She's still a sexy lady. She's still got curves in the right places.
I think that's awesome that you say that and that you bring that up.
Well, it's true.
That's not something we can put in the show notes, is it?
A picture or a link to my wife's Facebook.
I honestly think that that we should put up or interview somebody that's a female.
I'd like to get
lifter
her in here so she can do that
and get the visual in front of listeners so that they can see. Okay, this person lifts this much and does this much. This is how they train, and this is how they look.
Yeah.
It's not going to make you insanely bulky.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So moving on. Heavy lifting will make me bulky. Not true.
Okay. So I've just got two more that I want to talk about. Okay. This one I kind of put in for you.
Oh.
And also for me, but mostly you. More broadly, diet gimmicks, but specifically, as an example, bulletproof coffee.
Oh my gosh.
So, things like bulletproof coffee are a gimmick, in my opinion,
yes.
and in science's opinion.
Yeah.
People think that, they found out that, there are healthy fats.
Yeah,
so let's add healthy
I'm going to add healthy
everything.
fats to everything. Yeah.
And that isn't necessarily a good thing, folks.
Yep.
Adding 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, even though coconut oil is yummy and good
for you,
doesn't mean you need to put it in everything. Large amounts are good for you. Just because it's good for you in smaller quantities doesn't mean it's good for you in larger quantities. So, and part of your breakfast routine.
That goes along with my next point.
Ooh.
And so this is what marketing strategists like to do. Take one little study, draw out one little thing, and blow it up.
Yep.
So my point was, quote, I saw this healthy thing on BuzzFeed, ... quote.
I think it's the same honestly, thing. I think you can credit BuzzFeed with most diet fads, like bulletproof coffee.
Yep.
Or what's that guy's name? David Wolf? Or something Wolf? WOLFE.
No idea.
He's this long-haired guy that posts things.
So that kind of goes in line with...
You like how smart I sound?
Yeah.
He's this guy that posts
does things.
Stuff.
But I hear this a lot about how a client will come in or someone will come in and say, hey, did you hear that? Or did you see that article on BuzzFeed? Blueberries have antioxidants in them, so I'm going to put blueberries in everything. It's like, well, blueberries are also, have a little bit of sugar in them and have some calories to them. And if you don't have a good mix of carbs, fats, and proteins in the right ratios for you at the right time, you're not going to be optimal.
Can I tell you what's in the smoothie in the fridge less than 2 feet away from me?
No. Yes.
Blueberries.
Blueberries?
But
blueberries are good.
But I've also got peanut butter for the fats.
So you got sugar and fat in there.
Okay. And I've got baby spinach.
Ooh.
And I've got protein powder.
Ooh. The redeeming factor. If you put protein powder with something, it automatically becomes anabolic, meaning it'll help your body be a muscle-friendly state. Yeah,
so yeah, I love blueberries, and I put them in a lot of things, but I make sure it's balanced with all the other stuff.
Yeah. Balance, that's the key.
Yeah. Including coconut oil. You don't put it in your coffee unless you really like it, and you're refraining from putting coconut oil in other things that you would normally put them in.
You can put coconut oil in your coffee if you have no other added fat to your diet at all throughout the day.
Yeah, because chances are you're getting what you need already.
So that means no bacon, no peanut butter, no other oils, no salad dressing, nothing.
Sounds like a pretty boring life.
It is a boring life.
Gotta have that bulletproof.
So I got 2 more things. What do you got?
One more thing.
Okay, I'll go. Quote, I worked out, so now I can have this pizza. Or I trained real hard today, so now I can have this.
Right.
That is a big pet peeve of mine.
Thinking that you somehow get a calorie deficit so you can fill it with something else.
Yeah. So, well, to me, that's like what is it called? Going to the day workplace where you work for a day, you get paid for a day.
Temp agency.
Temp agency. That's like going to a
The
temp agency.
day
Like,
place.
I made $50 today. I can go spend $50 today. In fact,
I won't be able to pay my rent.
I can go in the hole a little bit, but no, it's not what you want to do. You want to get ahead and actually have some goals and hit those goals and save a little bit every day. You can spend 40 out of those $50 or whatever, or you can be aggressive and save it all, but you want to get ahead.
Yeah.
So if you want to get ahead, don't just waste what you just did.
Yeah. Yeah. Bank it.
Yeah.
Put it in your savings.
Or make it a habit to just save a little bit every time.
Put it in a Roth IRA.
Whatever that is.
I don't know. Something the Republicans invented.
Okay, what do you got?
Huge pet peeve of mine.
Uh-huh.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sparring.
Uh-huh.
You know I'm an instructor, right?
Yeah.
And I've got 2 stripes on my black belt, right?
Uh-huh. This is gonna...
Sometimes kids beat me up in sparring.
No, they don't.
No. That's because I've got longer reach, so I punch them before they punch me. But
there you go.
Kids or inexperienced people that are better than me.
Yeah.
Really bothers me, really gets under my skin. I usually tell them, go find another school.
Yeah. When you're on you're on the floor doubled over and the white belt is standing over you.
And I'm trying to fight back the tears.
Right. That's not how you punch.
Sure, you punched me in the right spot at the right time, but
you didn't do it right.
You didn't do it the way I would do it.
You'll never make it. Get out of here.
Leave your check in the jar on the way.
Yeah. That's really close to my last point. Okay, biggest pet peeve.
Kids beat you up too?
Well, that's neither here nor there. But my biggest pet peeve as a personal trainer, anybody stronger than me or like more in shape than me or has six-pack abs, I can't stand it.
Am I a pet peeve then? Don't laugh.
Notice how I laugh.
Stop laughing.
I'm laughing really hard.
Oh,
man. But yeah, I can't stand when people are stronger than me. Not really though.
Is that why I'm your lifting buddy?
Yeah. I wanted someone tiny.
That's why Kelly isn't your lifting buddy.
Good set. Put these 45-pound plates on.
Yeah. No, you can leave the weights that you just maxed out on the bar and add these ones.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Oh, boy. So those were some of the things that really bother us.
Yep. Pet peeves.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys have some pet peeves, maybe about us even, feel free to...
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, feel free to keep it to yourself. But if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of us. You can email us at modernerafitnesspodcast@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Instagram.
At MEF Podcast.
Yeah. And if you feel like it, you can give us a review on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on Google Play Music. And if you have anything else, you can go to our FeedBurner feed. I'm not sure of the link, but if you just Google it, you'll find it. Because if you have some sort of FeedBurner feed, you know how to use the internet probably better than me.
Like anybody does.
Hey.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Remember to live in a good place.
Keep your mind deep.
And work when it's time. Bye.
Bye. Eat that soap.